You must be careful about the words you use, or the words you allow to be used in your house. Words are things. You must be careful. Careful about calling people out of their names, using racial pejoratives and sexual pejoratives and all that ignorance. Don't do that.
It's time to talk about it.
Pull up a chair and take a seat.
We're serving up recipes for life.
With Hampton University's Dr. Richard Mason and Dr. Tamara Williams.
Welcome to the Sunday Brunch.
This is Dr. Tamara Williams.
And this is Dr. Richard Mason. Welcome back to the table for another edition of Sunday Brunch with the Good Doctors.
The good doctors.
Hey, how's it going?
This has been a busy week. I don't know if I'm coming or going some days.
Listen, I think I've come, gone, left, and back again and spun around on roller skates, you name it.
I'm telling you, this is definitely a busy time of year for us on campus, and certainly this is a busy time for me and all the many hats and responsibilities. And I can tell you that I am ripping, running, going, and then still we're involved in community, so even our community service continues,
Yeah.
so
That
that
never
never
stops.
ends. Yes, that never ends. In servant leadership, that never ends. And so it's hard to, I feel if I could just duplicate myself or triplicate myself,
Hmm.
even
Hmm.
become quadruplets at some point, it would be helpful.
I think I need three of me, but I don't think the world could be. I don't think the
Listen,
world could.
I promise you the world don't need three of you.
They might need three.
I probably they don't need two of me, to be honest. Uh,
When
but
folk tell me,
it's
they
a lot.
say, I saw somebody that looked just like you. I thought it was you. I said, well, next time get that number so they can double as me sometimes. I can get him some of this calendar.
Please, please.
Let them go attend some of these events. Don't say anything. Just look and wave. That's all you gotta
Look, listen. Because you really want to be so supportive and you want to show up for as many people as you can because you know how
do.
that important that is to show up.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
not just to show up, but to show out and to participate and to lend our expertise in those areas. But
Exactly.
there's only 24 hours in one day. And
Listen,
some of those hours do require us to nap, is what we seem to do from time to time. Just nap. Because
that's all.
we don't use that word rest. And I don't really
Hmm.
feel like I've gotten any good sleep, not during this area. Yeah.
Nope, but I'm having a ball. That's all I can say.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
people know anything for children.
Hmm.
That's the thing. Anything for children, I'm there and I show up. I went to an art show for Langley Elementary School they had over at Langley Baptist Church earlier this week. And when I tell you, watching the kids get excited because their artwork was on display, Miss Jones is doing an excellent job as an art teacher. As a matter of fact, she taught my son years ago when he was in elementary school, and we still have some of his art pieces at the house. Because it was just one of those things that they felt the pride in their work, and I could see that on those kids' faces and all. And so that's why I show up. Yeah, I
Yes,
show up for
indeed.
them. I
I
definitely
show up
show
for
up.
you show up for the little people. I show up for the older people. They
Hmm.
they used to be little people because we all have, but and sometimes they still feel like they're little people. They're still in the process of growing for bigger people. And I know what it feels like for people not to speak life into you. And so it's very important for
Hmm.
me to show up and tell people what they really can do and also what I expect from them. And to
Hmm.
help them to facilitate that level of growth of understanding that sometimes we're going to disappoint people. And it's our
Right.
responsibility to still do our best work.
Right.
And
Hmm.
sometimes you're going to be disappointed. It's a part of growing and learning how to receive
Hmm.
yeses and nos. So
Exactly.
I'm in that different
Exactly.
part of that process. But that is not even our show today. That is not even our conversation today.
No,
Let me
not at
tell you
all.
why I am excited today about this conversation. There are a lot of things that are happening when it to women in the world right now. Our world is just a interesting place to exist. And not
Mm-hmm.
just women, but to families in general. And so we have a two-part conversation that we're going to have today. But I like us to start off with um, there's no shame in needing help.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's many times in life that a lot of people find themselves needing help. And in the times that we live in right now, where people may be losing jobs or, maybe um, everything is more expensive than it has been previously.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that are going up is food, grocery prices.
Mm-hmm.
My appetite has not decreased,
No, not at all. Not
but the
at
food
all.
prices have. The
Right. And
food
even the gas prices to get to the food. Either you're gonna drive to get the food or you're gonna eat the food. Which one are you gonna do?
Even
You
if you get it delivered, somebody has to pay. It's a lot
know?
to it. It's complicated, and often people find that they have more months than money left.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
More month
Exactly.
than money left. And so we have a wonderful guest today, and she works at the Virginia Beach Food Bank, but she doesn't just work there. She runs some areas in that piece. So I wanted
Mm-hmm.
us to have that conversation and welcome her to the show and talk about how other people can get involved and how she even got involved in that good work, that good
Yes.
service work herself. So I want to
Mm-hmm.
welcome to the Sunday brunch table, Nakia Fisher.
Yes,
Nakia,
yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on today.
yay! We're happy to have brunch with you.
Thank you.
Happy.
Thank you.
So
So, as you said, yes, my name is Nakia Fisher, and I do work at the Virginia Peninsula Food Bank.
mm-hmm.
Oversee a program. It's called CSFP, but for without all the acronyms, basically, I oversee the program that helps feed our seniors here locally. Unfortunately, with everything quote unquote going on in the world today, like we like to say, food insecurity is real.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, everyone needs help. Our seniors
Mm-hmm.
sometimes get overlooked. They're seasoned. Therefore, they may have less family around,
Mm-hmm.
less people checking on them these days. So we're really there to provide that need and to close that
And fixed incomes.
and fix. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's the beginning. The fixed income. They can't work a full-time job, nor should they at a certain age. I'll say, and it's real. We see it every day. We have about 26 sites that we do per month, and that's
Mm-hmm.
approximately 1,200 individuals that we serve. Or with the
Mm-hmm.
senior program. So that is our senior 60 and up, and that is outside any other help they may be getting.
So
Okay.
60 and up. What
Yes.
type of services can they receive from you at the food bank 60 and up?
So we do provide wraparound services, or we like to partner with our agencies to get them those services. To be exact, we do directly provide the food. And when I say directly, we are packing boxes at the food bank. We are loading them up. We have 26 sites that we visit throughout the month. So that's roughly about 4 sites. Sometimes we double up. We do have very good partners who actually do the distribution. But
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, we are hands on with our volunteers delivering to apartments, whether we do an open pantry where you drive through, or like I said, the agencies, our partner agencies sometimes do it themselves, which we absolutely love.
I
So
bet
they
you do.
right. So it sounds like there are many options in which they can get involved or receive
Yes.
services. Okay.
Yes. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, there are.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an application, but there are no hard qualifications, of course. It's just 60 and up. And like you said, most are low income, so everyone usually qualifies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there a type of income situation in which, um, if you make too much, you may not receive the service? Is that what you're saying?
Well, quite honestly, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. But quite honestly, unfortunately, I haven't seen that. I haven't
Most of our
seen
seniors, yeah.
exactly, even our veterans,
Right.
Mm.
even our newly housed, from unhoused to newly housed.
Mm-hmm.
They're just trying to get on their feet. So that's what we run into a lot. And like I said, a lot of people unfortunately qualify, but we're here to help to
Mm-hmm.
fill that gap.
And that's
And
good
so
to
is it like
know.
once a week they will be able to receive the food? How does that work?
Yes. So we deliver boxes, and within
Mm-hmm.
that box it feeds from 1 to 3 families. So
Okay.
we do supplement, and it is a supplement, of course, but within the senior boxes, they get a little more protein, they get juice, they get cheese, as to where just regular emergency, food, we just get you a good amount of food. You can come back. But with our seniors, we are very intentional about making sure they don't have to go to the store or making sure they,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I forgot this. And I'll be quite honest, we're so hands-on. If they give me a call, we will see what else we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
And
they
that's
wait
good.
for us.
Yeah,
That
and I
is
was
a
saying that's
blessing.
good. They certainly need that kind of support, especially when you have seniors in some situations where their children may not live in this area because they've moved away for
Absolutely.
jobs and things of that nature. Because we're at a time now where people have really um, left the community because, of course,
Mhm.
there are more opportunities outside sometimes. And it's not just a problem here or, where our people face in our community, but it's just across the board. The whole
Absolutely.
structure of the family now has totally changed.
Yes, it
And,
had.
mm-hmm,
There's
in terms
another
of where people
aspect
are.
that we look at as to where now, grandparents are raising up to three of their
Mm.
grandchildren. And that's a
Mm-hmm,
new, it's kind of new for us to really see. So when they come back and say, oh, my granddaughter or grandson has lived here, okay, fine. We up your household number. We don't get down in the weeds, and we definitely do not judge.
And
mm-hmm.
there are a
No.
lot of grandparents
A lot.
raising their grandchildren
Mm-hmm,
Hmm.
and
mm-hmm,
assisting.
Yes, a lot.
mm-hmm,
And and
mm-hmm.
and just because you're 60 and your children have moved away doesn't mean you are ready necessarily to move away. You still have a
Right.
sense of independence. 60 is still kind of young, but you
Oh,
could have
yes.
some other issues or concerns in which, maybe you live up the steps. Getting up and down those steps may be difficult to get your
Yes,
grocery or carrying things or walking through the grocery store. That is difficult.
absolutely. It is. And
Mm-hmm.
we always say, when our volunteers come out to help, we give them a little spill, a little background. And the one thing that stands out is we remind them, you knock and you say hello and have fun and do it with a smile because you may be the only person they've seen this month. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a
Mhm.
hard reality in the beginning, but it's very true. So when we're up there, I have volunteers tell me, "Oh, that's the lady that collects the salt and pepper shaker. I brought her one this month."
Uh-huh.
And we're like, "Well, what's taking the volunteers so long to come down?" They're actually engaging and learning about our seniors, and it means the world to them. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they greet us. We go to Berkeley Village, and they're outside on nice days, just waiting, waving, and
Mm-hmm.
saying thank you and sending us cards and getting them the food is absolutely amazing. But the
Mm-hmm.
interaction is really what does it.
And that's what I was about to say. It's you're giving them the food, which is good, but I'm sure the blessing is the communication. It's one thing to
Yes.
just drop the food off and say, "Here you go," but to
Yes.
sit down and have a conversation with them sometimes, that's more than anything to them. Because when like you mentioned earlier, sometimes that's the only contact that
Yeah.
they may have, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, you have people living in lonely situations, which
Yeah.
can certainly lead to depression and some other mental health issues. So not only are they malnourished,
Hmm.
they are emotionally fatigued because of
Yeah.
some of the things that they're dealing with.
Very true. Very true. And
And emotionally forgotten.
there you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see the
Mm-hmm.
Fatigue
look in
and
their eyes when you
forgotten.
remember their
Mm-hmm.
name.
Right.
You remember that they had kids, or you run into someone who saw you grow up from church.
Yes.
That has
Oh, they
happened.
love that. And that you remember them because I
Absolutely.
found that when I've talked to a lot of elderly, they want to still be relevant. And
Yes.
they
Mm-hmm.
remember the time that they were accustomed to people calling them, seeking them out, asking them
Mm-hmm.
for advice and questions, all kinds of things, sharing information with them, making them feel that they were needed. And
Mm-hmm.
so it
Yeah.
is important that, like we said, emotionally that they still receive that. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's a good heart work that you do this
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
year. That's
Yes.
some
Thank
good
you.
heart work.
Thank
How
you.
did
Right.
you get into that? What pulled you into that direction?
So I actually worked at the food bank many moons ago. In my heyday, I worked there for about 8 years as the office manager. So
Mm-hmm.
recently, I came back this past September and took this position. So basically, I went from administrative to program. And I'll say both were very rewarding. I mean, the job itself is rewarding, knowing what we do every day. But the interaction, like I said, and just having people to talk to and knowing that we're making that hands-on difference, it just
Mm-hmm.
really fills my heart. So I've been there since September, and I'm absolutely enjoying it.
See, I think it's more than that. And see,
Yeah, you see how
but
she cut it short? She didn't talk about
yes,
where
she
she really
did.
got
Yeah,
it from.
yes,
Mhm.
she did. You know.
See, me and my brother, we know. We feel like we left something out. Like, where did you get this from? Like, no, it didn't just start last year or 8 years ago. Mm-mm.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some passion there because, see, what Nakia hasn't told y'all yet, she does other things in the community as far as community service and giving back and doing things. She's very service minded and in the community. And it's about that hard work, you know. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's the part we want to hear. So stop holding back on the people. Tell the people what they need to hear.
Well, I would be remiss if I did not give credit to my grandmother,
There you
See,
go.
there you go.
See,
Roxy
that's
It's a
what we're
M.
praying
talking
grandmama
about.
somewhere. It's always a praying grandmama somewhere.
And you working with seniors, so there was some seniors somewhere in your life.
Yes, and there are still some who remember her. My grandmother, Roxy M. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call her an originator of sorts. The
Mm-hmm.
original OEO, original
Mm-hmm.
OHA,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
we now know HR Cap does a lot of great work.
Mm-hmm.
But I was there in those offices, and I do believe that that is absolutely where it stemmed from. I remember, getting off the bus and going. She got a couple of sandwiches with a cookie. I go sit in the corner, and she's helping someone fill out paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
She's helping a nurse finish up so she could take this class so that she could become licensed. And I have recently found one of her books, and I'm like, we were and are family. She has a
Mm-hmm.
thick notebook of everyone's name that she's helped, how she's helped, so that she could reference back to that.
Mm-hmm.
And just the giving, watching her pour into someone who doesn't think that they have it within
Mm-hmm.
themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very easy for me to serve, and that's really the gist of everything. Even Richard, as you mentioned, I do help, and my main thing is what can I do? If I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, I'll learn it. But that is the base of why I serve, and I want to continue always giving back.
Mm-hmm. See, it was in you.
It's
It's
in
the
me.
people who poured into you, the example that was set by you. And that's one of the things I talk about all the time. We talk about the change that we need to see. Was it Gandhi who said, be the change you want to see in the
You wish to
world?
see in the
Exactly
world?
right.
Hmm.
Yep.
And that's the thing. When we talk about that, we have to make sure we're showing kindness to people. We're being good to people because you just never know when that
Yeah.
is going to have to come back to you at some point. And not that we do it for the return gift, but it's
Yep.
the right thing to do.
Yes.
It's basic humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And people of all ages deserve to feel as if they are human beings.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
people of all ages need to have that humanity about themselves and operative of that no
Right.
one is greater than any other and is but by God.
Yes.
But by
Right.
God that I have been spared this, that, or the third. And it just because you've been spared at this point, that's not to say that you will be forever spared. And
Hmm.
so the same people you meet going up are the same people you're gonna meet
Yes.
headed on back down. And so people do remember how you make them feel. They do remember how you treated them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They do not forget that. And so many people are connected. You never know who you are meeting.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
100%.
It's wise to be kind.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And when you talk about just connected to people,
Mhm.
you will be surprised in terms of the the relationships that people have, and you find out, oh, wait a minute, you know so and so, you helped this person. I thank you so much. The gratitude. And then they are able to do something for someone else. It's like it catches on. It's the
Mhm.
niceness, it's the kindness that now other people are looking at this thing and saying, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I'm going to do something for somebody else at that point. It's almost like going through the drive-through at Starbucks and you find out that
Yep.
the person in front of you paid for your order. Next thing you know, well, let me pay for theirs behind me. How much is their order? I'll pay for their order. And you find out,
It can
oh,
be
they look,
contagious.
their order is $50. Oh, and no, I'm not going to pay for
Never
that
mind.
today.
Okay.
How much is the car
Th-
behind them?
that part.
No, but
Yeah.
it does catch on. And I remember getting caught in that situation one day at Starbucks that someone had started paying for, the person behind them, and so someone paid for mine and I ended up paying for somebody else's, order behind me. And it just kept going and kept going. And then one of our colleagues on campus was laughing. She said, somebody paid for my stuff today, and it was like,
Hmm.
yeah, because the person in front of them paid for theirs, and so
Hmm.
it just kept on going and going and going, and so wouldn't it be just amazing just to have a day like that of just constant giving?
Well, we definitely need some kindness in the world.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
people need people who they know they can consistently come to. The other part of it is a lot of us are very prideful,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing how to ask for help or not being willing to ask for help. It is hard for some people. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
very thankful that the food bank exists because sometimes you're going to be meeting people who have never had to ask for anything, but
Yes.
they
Mm-hmm.
really are in need.
Yes. And it's
Mm-hmm.
And they
hard.
need the compassion and they don't need you to make them feel bad
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
about their actual needs. It's a
Mm-hmm.
need, not even a want.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When you talk about food insecurity, that is
Mm-hmm.
real. And you talk about quality food. What I loved is that you spoke about the giving the seniors the things that they need. Because
Yes.
what
Mm-hmm.
they need for their diet is not necessarily what a full family may need or other people may need at that moment. But
That's exactly
Mm-hmm.
protein
right.
for sure, because you start talking about the bone density
Yes.
issues and the different problems, and they need that stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Years ago, I had an experience, and I think I shared this. I don't know if I shared it on the show or not, but I typically don't because I know, working in substance abuse and stuff. So I typically don't just give out money when people are asking, "Hey, I need money, I need money." But if you tell me you're hungry, I'll buy you food. And so I'd been in stopped at a 7-Eleven, and the guy was outside and said, "Hey man, I need some money. I'm hungry." Da 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 da. I said, "Well, come on in." I said, "I don't have any cash on me, but guess what? I'll buy you some food." So he came in and got a couple of hot dogs and all or whatever. And so I told him, "Go ahead and get something, that's non-perishable that you can eat a little bit later if you need it or whatever." And all. So we get to the register. I pull out my debit card and all or whatever, and it gets denied. He started laughing. He said, "You might need to sit outside with me." But I said Langley Federal play too much. So I don't pull the app out on my phone. I'm like making sure before I start talking junk. Oh yeah, I got money in the bank. So I told the cashier run it again, and it went through. Well, fast forward about a year and a half later, I was at another restaurant. I was at Mission Barbecue, and a guy came up to me in line, and as I was had ordered my lunch and all or whatever, I was getting ready to pay for it. He steps up and he told the lady, he said, "Oh no, I got his lunch. I'll take care of his lunch or whatever." Well, I didn't recognize the person and all or whatever, and I said, "Wait a minute. I got this something." He said, "No, I'm going to take care of this for you or whatever." And so he went ahead and paid for it. And he was like, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I said, "No, I really don't remember you." I said, "Please forgive me." So he said,
It was
"I
nice
was
you were
in,
honest.
yeah, and he says, I was in 7-Eleven one day," he said, "and you helped me out or whatever." He said, "And your debit card," he said, "Remember the situation? Your debit card didn't work." And I started laughing. It was the funniest thing. And he told me, he said, you just don't know what that meant for me. He said, because I didn't feel like you were looking down on me at that point. He said, and the fact that your debit card didn't work, that added even more to it. But he told me he told me he was telling me his story and all, and he, got him a job and everything or whatever. And he said, if I ever saw you, I would love to be able to repay what you did for me that day and all. And so I told him, he said, and so now he said, I do the same thing for others. He said, I do what I can. He said, and I don't make a whole lot. He said, but I make enough to sustain me. But if I can do something for somebody else or whatever, he said, I don't mind buying somebody a meal. He said, so this is good for me to be able to buy you a meal. But we laughed at him and we could not stop laughing. And he, like I said, he remembered that whole debit card situation. I said, yeah, Langley played too much.
You remember too.
Yes.
That's
Mm-hmm.
because it could have been taken and seen as an embarrassing moment.
Mm-hmm.
And especially from someone of your stature that you don't have something you are lacking of somewhere. And so he was able to connect with you in that moment
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
we both need a moment of humility. This one moment doesn't define who we are
Mm-hmm.
and our
Mm-hmm.
total worth.
Yeah.
This is
Mm-hmm.
just one situation. And so it gave him,
Mm-hmm.
then sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying.
Listen, that part. But he was so funny. He said, "Yeah, I remember." He said, "Because I remember you had on the bow ties." He said,
Okay, everybody knows your bow
he said,
ties.
you, and he told me, you've gained a little weight, but you." I said, "Get out of my face."
You tell them your debit card stopped declining.
Right. Exactly.
When you swipe it, the
But,
food is good.
but it was cool. Like I said, we had a good time, and I wish I really had the time to sit with him, because I was just kind of grabbing and going that day. But it was cool to sit down and just have that interaction. Because sometimes we help people, I often think about the times when I give people directions, as they say, and I'm thinking to myself, did I
I
give them
hope
the
you
right
got there.
way?
Oh, I
Did
hope you got there.
Exactly. Did I give him the right street name to turn right on? Was it a left turn? Then don't ask me directions. You better talk to
Mm-mm.
Siri or somebody else or whatever. Don't ask me for
Anybody else.
directions.
Anybody
so,
else.
so that was definitely a good moment in terms of that. In terms of that process. But before we leave the food bank, because we want to talk about some other stuff too, but before we leave the food bank, what do people need to do? I know you just kind of mentioned the application process and everything or whatever, but who should they call? How can they contact the food bank to get the services they need or whatever?
So they can call the Virginia Peninsula Food Bank. The telephone number is 757-596-7188. And if they'd like, they can ask for me directly. I do oversee the program, so I'll probably be the best one to answer
Mm-hmm.
questions. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know my extension right off, but Nakia Fisher is the name.
Mm-hmm.
So just give us a call and I'll be more than happy to help. Or you can email me
Mm-hmm.
at nfisher@hrfoodbank.org.
Okay. All
So,
right. And so
yep.
all right. And the other thing is because I know they have different days where you can go in and volunteer and all or whatever. So with people who want to volunteer just to help out or even donate food,
Yeah.
can they reach out in the same manner as well?
Yes, they can. Or you can go directly to the site. We take volunteers on site, off site, Monday through Friday. Again, the boxes that we deliver are being packed inside of the food bank, so we can always use volunteers for
Mm-hmm.
palletizing, sorting, and they can go straight to the website for the volunteer full list of volunteer opportunities, and that's hrfoodbank.org.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the
Okay.
end of my email, and everything is on there. If you want to donate, feel free to come in. If you'd like, we can give you a tour. You can speak with a few people, or again, you can go directly to the website.
Okay. And organizations can step up and volunteer, make that a group service project, a group activity, and bring several people out to help pack boxes and things like that for you guys.
Absolutely. We encourage large groups. They work together. They have lunch in our boardroom, and we make it a whole thing. Our
Mm-hmm.
volunteer coordinator, Lexi Robinson, she's wonderful at setting that up for us. Again, all of our information is online, and we do encourage groups. We have a lot of groups that come through, and they just set up the assembly line and they get to work and they love it. They love
Mm-hmm.
it.
I
And it's
know the
fun.
Hampton Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta has been going
Yes,
for
the Deltas.
years.
Yes, we see
Yes.
them. Look, we
Hmm.
see them fill up our parking lots with their license plates. I said, "Oh, they're in the house today. Some work's
Yes,
gonna get
indeed.
done. They're gonna get done."
Yeah, we believe in
Yeah.
that work and that service. It's necessary. You can't
Yes.
even reach people if you can't even make sure they have their basic needs. It's
Yes,
hard
Hmm.
to focus without just the basic needs, and food is just one of those basic things that people
that's
need.
it.
We
That's it.
can't
Hmm.
exist without it.
Yes,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
Yep.
speaking of service organizations, we have
Mhm.
something new that's sprouting up in the community. And so I want the kid to tell you all about this new organization that's coming together and all, and we'll dive into a little bit about what it's about and how this came about. So I'll let you start in, Nakia, and then of course we're just gonna jump in and ask questions for the people.
Plenty
Okay.
of questions.
Okay, okay. So, as you just mentioned, we are organizing the new chapter for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. Our president, Dr. Katrina Baptiste, has been working very, very hard at getting this together for us. And we are very excited to announce that we will charter on May 16th at 11 a.m. at the Hilton Main in Norfolk, Virginia. So that will be our official chartering ceremony. This has been quite an experience of women rallying together all for one purpose of advocacy, and to pouring into our young women and our Black women and girls and providing programs that we can, help enrich economically. We can go ahead and we have STEM going on. It's just a lot of things that we're excited to get started in the area. Once we fill out what everyone's need is, we have our task force built and we're ready to get to work.
So tell us, what is the mission, the aims of this organization and all? What is it that you seek to do? Because of course, when I hear 100 black women, I know what we do with 100 black men, and we're all about,
Mhm.
serving the community and doing mentoring initiatives and things of that nature. So what can we expect once this new organization is chartered right here in the Hampton Roads community?
So we are anchored in purpose. We're rising in leadership and advancing advocacy and service to our community.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main reasons I was drawn to the group is to grow as a leader, and these women actually they put the work in, and with the skills in program coordination and community outreach, and we hope to expand on that in the very near future as soon as we charter on the 16th.
Okay, okay. Now, this is a national organization.
Correct. Yes, this is a national
Okay,
organization, and this is a new chapter here in southeastern Virginia.
okay, awesome,
Yes.
awesome. And so, how many ladies are on your chartering line? And
We
give
have
us the details. Come on, you keep holding back.
we have 91 beautiful, strong Black women in our organization.
Mm-hmm.
We have, I would need to pull up my stats. We have different programs going now. Let me think.
A lot is happening.
It is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
A
really is
lot
a
is
lot
happening.
happening, and
And
it's
you
new
said
to
91.
yes, 91 women in our area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you need nine more. So
Yes.
before we finish, you're gonna have to tell other women how they can get involved in this organization as
Yes,
well.
absolutely. We are vetting, of course, for our next season when we do charter. I already have a lot of women asking
Mm-hmm.
about signing on and giving an advocacy and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
we will be able to expand on this a little bit later once we get
Mm-hmm.
chartered and really get our programs going. We're just really, really excited to be able to pour back into Black women and young ladies.
Mm. And I'm gonna apologize to the people because
The food is good.
the food is good today, y'all.
We are tearing up and down, up and down. So if you hear the pauses, just know we are in the midst. They didn't hear us say anything about bacon or honey butter today. We just got right to business.
Right. 'Cause we were eating when we started.
Look, we did pray. I just want y'all to know that we did pray and say amen
And
in the name of Jesus. But we are definitely enjoying our conversation and our
Mm-hmm.
food today. And it's
Yes.
important that women show up for other women. And
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of us creating something in the community. I say us because I'm a woman. I'm
yes,
not a part of the
absolutely.
organization yet. We'll see
Yet.
what happens.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea of other women mentoring other women and helping women show up in other ways.
Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
We always talk
So
about
how
iron
did you get
sharpens
into that,
iron.
Nakia? How did you get into that?
So one of my mentors actually approached me about a year ago. Again,
Mhm.
working in the community and giving and doing organizing and putting things together. She introduced the idea of a organization, an interest group, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was something I would love to do. I do always say I need to grow in leadership, and after meeting these women, I know I'm exactly where I need to be. Everyone is so nice and wonderful, very, very understanding. What you don't know, they really are on it to teach you and show you. So I was very excited to accept. And then after we did our training, I just knew this is what I want to do.
Don't you have some training and all too?
Yes, we had our training back in February.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So again, once we've done our strategic plan, we have that together. So once we charter, we are boots on the ground, off to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's all right. And so,
I'm excited.
yeah. So
Thank
at
you.
some point, you definitely have to come back and tell us, what types of programs and projects you guys have gotten up off the ground and how people can get involved, especially if you have the mentoring initiatives for some of the young ladies and everything or whatever. That would be
Yeah,
great. And
absolutely.
And I'm always going to put in a plug for the schools and so if you definitely have some programs that we can get into our schools and involve our young ladies, that would be amazing.
Yes, we look forward to it. I definitely look forward to coming back and expanding on the programs that we have actually launched and be able
Hmm.
to share those with you. Absolutely.
That would be great. That would be
Yes.
great. And I'll put a plug in if y'all are not doing stuff on early literacy. I would say certainly if you can, put a plug into working some programs or some early literacy types of things, working with
Yes.
our pre-K kids and all, and
Absolutely.
jumping into some of those types of initiatives in some of those areas, just thinking in terms of what's needed out here in the community, especially as it relates to education.
Absolutely. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that during our training session, one of our sisters, actually, that she does focus on literacy, and she shared
Hmm.
very deeply how that's one thing she plans on starting. So look out for that. I will definitely bring that information back to you. She's so passionate about having our young babies read. So I told her, I said, oh,
Hmm.
we're going to support that. Yes,
Hmm.
Reading is fundamental.
absolutely. And you'd be
But not
surprised.
just reading, but comprehension. And I think that is
Yes.
where a lot of people miss the mark. They get to the bottom
Hmm.
of the page and they don't remember anything or they don't understand anything that they read. So
Yes.
Hmm.
anybody can know a word, but can you understand what that means and put those things together? That
Absolutely.
comprehension is key.
It
And
is.
then after comprehension, we could talk about retention. But that's
Hmm.
not today's
Hmm.
Yes, yes.
conversation. But those
Hmm.
are good things. And I'd like to see a lot of character building, like maybe some things
Hmm.
regarding that and
Mhm.
women and character building
Yes,
and some lessons on helping people to not have lane violations, meaning
mm,
more like understanding that you are enough within yourself and that
yes,
your goal in life should be to become the best you that you can be
Hmm.
and not a cheap copy of
yes,
someone else or trying to lead up to someone else's expectations for you, but understanding what your own expectations are for yourself so that you can
yes,
show up and know that you belong in that space that
yes,
you're occupying, not having
Hmm.
these feelings of not belonging somewhere or not being good enough
and
Hmm.
that's a real thing.
or
That
waiting for somebody else to confirm who you
Right,
are.
Mm-hmm.
right. While you're waiting, you've already done the work, and you're waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay to be you. No, 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 no. I,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to outgrow
yes,
Mm-hmm.
those around you. And sometimes people don't understand that there really are no buddy passes to success. You can
Right.
be cordial to other people, but it really is an individual sport in the sense that you have to put that effort in yourself. No one can do those things for you.
yes,
No one can show up for you. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
able to show up for yourself.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the big things you talk about showing up for yourself. As a person who's giving in the community and doing so much for others, one, how do you take care of your own family and in managing that process and all or whatever? But then also I want to circle back to self-care and hear what do you do to take care of yourself? Okay.
yes. For me, I definitely, when I feel ungrounded, I ground myself with family. You know, those
Mm-hmm.
are the people who've known me, who knew me before I knew myself,
Mm-hmm.
tell me when I'm on point or when I'm a little off. So that's the one thing I do immediately. I ground myself with my family and my kids. Just
Mm-hmm.
to get that real sense of being. For self-care, I like to sit in silence. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I like to sit in silence and let things just kind of go in one ear, out the other. Once I'm done with that, a nice movie, just something a little that doesn't take a lot of thought. That's what does it
Mm-hmm.
for me. Without having to think about 1,000 things. For me, self-care is to just sit and not have to think so much.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
be responsible
Yes,
for things.
absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's it.
I recall you talking about how you wanted to grow in leadership.
Yes.
I like the idea of you understanding that we're continuously growing. Like even though we have our doctor degree, we're continuously growing. We're doing new things, more things, learning things, being trained on different things, understanding things. Like education is fundamental in
Yes.
how we operate. So outside of leadership, where are some goals or some things you see yourself growing in or wanting to grow in?
Education. And I
Okay.
say that I think when we spoke previously, as a military brat, you're moving with the world and not realizing sometimes that in this world, these opportunities are available. You don't get to sit long enough to absorb certain things. And now that I'm grown, it's coming full circle. And so I'm really, really passionate about getting back into education. I started my degree, but didn't
Hmm.
finish. So we're going to do that. I'm
Oh, you're
interested.
gonna finish
Oh,
what you
yes, we're going
started.
to we're going to
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
a
There
couple
you
of other
go.
trades, and things like that. So I'm really that's where I'm at right now in my life.
Let's go back to that because I
Yes.
think that that will benefit so many people. Delayed is not denied.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
You hit the pause button. Now you can hit
Mm-hmm.
play. So
Right.
you started
Mm-hmm.
something. Now you have to, and sometimes you may not be going back to finish exactly what you started, but you're going back to finish your education. So I don't know
Right.
what was your degree in before.
Business administration, a bachelor's of science in business administration.
And
Mm-hmm.
now you find yourself in a different type of hard work.
Yes.
Business
Yeah.
still works because you're running,
Yes.
business, but what are you thinking that you would like to do?
Well, to be quite honest, one of my passions is homelessness or the unhoused, as they like to say. And so
Yes.
with real estate has been always been one of my things. I like again to work on the administrative side, but it's time to kind of break that and get into, more of the providing housing, whether it be 4 units.
So you have seen the need.
I've seen the
And
need.
now you want to
Mm-hmm.
fulfill that. You have assessed the problem, and now
Yes,
you're trying to be a part of the solution.
absolutely. Yep. That's
Yes.
all I can do is be a part of the solution.
And sometimes that requires you to go back and finish what you started.
It does. It does.
Mm-hmm.
So education opens up different opportunities and doors.
Yes. Yes.
And so
Absolutely.
you've traveled the world as a military brat, but now
Yes.
you've come to understand as you've matured that there's something else that you want.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. And like you said, it's just it's not denied, just a little
Mm-hmm.
delayed. And
Delayed is not
yes,
denied.
right.
And it may
Mm-hmm.
actually end up being right on time to
Amen to
feed
that.
right into what you have going on now. Because, everybody, it's also a maturity thing that comes with education. A lot of
Yeah.
people
Mm-hmm.
use college as an extension of high school. They want to
Yes,
send their kids somewhere else to continue to grow. But everybody is not capable at that moment or interested or focused enough. It doesn't mean it's not within you. Sometimes it's about the timing and what is happening around you at that time.
absolutely. That is exactly right.
And some
Well, if you,
people can take a time out, they come back and they're honor students.
Mm,
right.
yes, yes,
Yeah, staying in the mission, and
Yeah.
understand, the biggest thing, I've heard someone say once before, the mission is always greater than the moment. You
mm,
know,
That part.
and
yeah,
that's the thing is staying right in there and staying focused on what the mission is. You may have a few hiccups here or there, but guess what? So long as you keep the mission and focus on that mission, guess what? You're
yeah,
going to get there.
It's
yes.
not the battle, it's the war.
Mm-hmm.
It's seeing the
Mm-hmm.
entire picture. What I love for you in this moment is that what it's going to not just do for the people you work for and work with, but
Mm-hmm.
also your family and
Yeah,
also
Mm-hmm.
your children, and what that's going to do for them to show that, goals don't end at 18, goals don't
yeah,
end at 22, goals don't end at 25, 30, 35. Goals
Mm-hmm.
continue until we end.
yes, yes.
Until we stop making goals. It's up to us to continue, and you can continue to achieve. You're going to be a part of this 100 Black women or 100 women. Um, Dr. Mason and I are advisors for the Collegiate 100 that just came on campus at
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
HU
Mm-hmm.
this year. Yes. And so I can't wait to see, maybe there'll be more ways in which you'll be able to interact with our young ladies that are a
Yes.
part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Politically, there's so many things that end up happening in our areas too that these areas get involved with. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see where else you will show up in our community because
Thank
you
you.
Mm-hmm.
undoubtedly will.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. I'm not going nowhere.
No,
And it's good
you
to
were
surround
raised here,
yourself with
right?
good
You're
women.
from here, right?
Yes, like I said, my grandmother and my mother, they're from here. And my aunt, of course, they're from downtown Newport News. But we left, I was a baby when we left.
Mm-hmm.
And I returned in elementary school. So yes, I am
Okay.
from here. This is
Still a
home.
baby in an elementary school. Yes,
Yes,
indeed.
yes. This is home. This is home.
So
Mm-hmm.
I love that you're giving back to your community.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so thank you so much for all that you do.
Oh,
And like I
thank you.
said, and I still know that that's not all.
Nana.
Because you're on several other boards. You work with some other boards and things like that in the community as well.
Yes, I have. I have. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself saying, "Can I help?" And I end up, which is fine by me. End up playing a bigger role, which I absolutely enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting new people and working for some really, really good people who do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I love working with anyone who actually does the work, where I can see that, oh, we went to do this thing and it had an impact on something. So I absolutely love it.
Count you in is what I hear.
Please do.
Count
Please
you in,
do.
don't count you out. I hear
Right.
it. I hear it. I hear
Mm-hmm.
it that you're going to show up
Yes.
and you're
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
going to help. I also encourage you to make sure you exercise your boundaries. That's a part of self-care.
Yes.
That's something that Dr. Mason and I were discussing that, even in how we show up, we still have to, sometimes we have to say no. And sometimes it's not easy or
Mm-hmm.
it's not easily received, but you want to make sure that you still have something to offer to other people so that you can continue to show up your best self. So I
Yes.
wish for
Mm-hmm.
you all the balance that you can particularly find in this service world that we find ourselves in.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you this. For someone who doesn't have a Grandma Roxy in their lives, okay?
Mhm.
who taught them and inspired them. What would you tell your 14-year-old self if you didn't have Grandma Roxy in your
Hmm.
life? What would you tell yourself? So, because if someone's listening now, my thing is, what can we do to get them inspired to give back and to get involved in the community?
I would say, first, don't be afraid to share what it is you want to do. You
Mm-hmm.
may not have a Grandma Roxy, but you might have an Aunt Pam or
Mm-hmm.
a friend's mother who actually, you see them moving around, you don't know what they do, you wonder why they're always at this meeting or what, feel free to have that conversation because the more you talk, it'll get pulled out of you, and the right person will put you right where you need to be to, again, give back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that makes a big difference. I
It
will
makes
say
a
this.
huge difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It really does make a big difference. And just being in the right place sometimes.
Yeah.
I tell people, step outside of yourself. Most folks won't believe this, but I am an introvert, by personality type,
I
Mhm.
believe
Um,
it.
I
Me
really
too.
am. You know. Um,
Hmm.
I talk out of necessity. I'm an extrovert based on what I do.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm truly an introvert. But
Mhm.
because I do have the mindset of I want to give back and I want to work with people and all. And everyone knows when you start talking about kids, I'm in. I'm all in
Yes.
when it comes to kids. They have me coaching Little League baseball now, you know.
What? Now, this is something I did not know.
Yes, yes.
What?
Yeah.
Where's
And
this?
listen,
You can
and the
tell me
team,
off air because I'm
listen.
there. I need to see this with my own four eyes.
Listen, I have enjoyed being an assistant baseball coach this season. Uh, Being out there with those kids, it's so much fun. I mean, and we're competitive, don't get me wrong, but when I tell you it's just fun watching these little guys out there playing baseball,
Pigs
you
or
know?
it didn't happen.
Yes, one minute they're all in, the next minute they're sitting there looking around at the flowers and
Oh
throwing.
Yes.
yeah. Oh,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
ADHD kicks in
Yes.
at an
yeah,
early
it's
age.
like, dude, you're
Easily
playing baseball.
distracted.
Why's your glove on the ground? Pick your glove up, put your glove on.
Yes, indeed. I love to see the accomplishment and the excitement that comes from little people when they,
Yeah.
Oh my.
when you see them do something that you showed them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing. Oh, I
Oh
want to
yeah.
see it. I want to see it. That
They are
that's
having so
yeah.
much fun out
Yeah.
there, and
Not
I
as much
laugh.
as you.
Listen, I tell, and it's funny, when my son was growing up, my thing was I wanted to be the parent and just watch. You know what I mean, and be involved that way. I really didn't want to get out there and coach him. I just wanted to be there for him, in that manner. And so watching some of the parents now, of course, I'm thinking back to myself, was I that parent who thought my kid was going to the NBA or,
Oh
to the
my.
NFL? Am I out there just getting totally upset with the refs and the umps and everybody else or whatever? So we're just sitting back and laugh. But it's so good to see the parents so engaged with the kids and all or whatever, and the kids feel supported. When
We need that.
yeah,
We
when the
need
ump
that
makes a
today.
bad call and you got your parent in the stands yelling, "That wasn't a strike, that was a ball,"
Yes.
and the kid is like, "Yeah, I ain't think it was a strike either."
Hold on, hold on. That teaches conflict management too, so that is a skill
Yeah,
necessary. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a lot. But what I really, really do like about coaching and watching this team play, they support one another. You
Mm.
know, they're out there encouraging each other when someone's at bat, someone strikes out. Yeah,
It's
you
a
got
team.
yeah, and that's the thing. So being involved in the program like this is definitely, a win for me. And I know a lot of our neighborhood sports programs and all, they're out here begging for coaches. I will certainly encourage someone, whether you know the sport or not, sometimes just being present matters,
Hmm.
for our little
That
ones.
always
Yeah,
counts. That always
yeah,
counts. Whether they
yeah.
win or lose, just knowing that you are concerned and it gives you opportunity, like you said, Nakia, earlier, when you show up there, you can have other conversations. Just being
Hmm.
able
Mm-hmm.
to be present allows people to share things with you that
Yes.
ordinarily they may not ever share. Dr. Mason
Mm-hmm.
and I was having dinner last night and we bumped into someone. We will not share what they said, but they shared
Mm-hmm.
some things that
Yes.
they felt comfortable enough to
Mm-hmm.
share in that space. And so
Yes.
part of humanity, part of what we owe one another, our debt to the world is to show up for each other, to
Mm-hmm.
be kind to one another, because it really doesn't cost you anything.
Yes.
And
Mm-mm.
and and if you're gonna show up, be righteous about it. So if you're
Hmm.
listening to people, listen to them, you
Yes.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
be honest with them. Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Mason said early on the show when he sees people and he doesn't remember them, he's honest and says he doesn't remember. I haven't evolved to that point quite yet. I think it until I make it, oh, wonderful. It's great to see you again. I don't, because I feel the thought of like how bad they may feel if you do not recognize nor remember them. And so I will dig deep into my soul and theirs too, looking for some way to
Mm-mm.
recognize or remember. And I just, oh, and I call them
Mm-mm.
something generic,
Mm-mm. Let me
so
tell you,
that they
I stopped that a long time ago because see, here's the gotcha. You women change your hair,
all the
your
time,
makeup, your eye color, your eyeglasses, y'all change up so much.
all the
Men,
time.
men, we're gonna just get fat and bald. You know what I mean? But women, you guys are gonna do a whole lot of stuff, and you just, I may not recognize you sometimes. So it's like, who's in there?
You got jokes. You got jokes. Although, I have locks. That's not changing in this
Listen,
regard.
but
Not today.
listen. I
But
need to
I
know.
understand what you're saying. But I
Yeah.
will switch the glasses up like nobody's business.
Right.
Let me tell you, I've had students show up at graduation, and I had to,
Yeah.
excuse me, you're in the wrong place, and they're looking at me
Yeah.
like, Dr. Mason, it's me, and wait a minute, you
Now
didn't
they do
have,
glam it up. They
you
do
didn't
glam
have
it
all
up.
of that hair
Yes.
yesterday, and you certainly
Or
didn't
the
have,
eyelashes.
yeah, exactly. You didn't look like that just yesterday. So how would you expect
Earlier
me?
this morning, in fact. And so,
Mm-mm,
yes,
mm-mm,
indeed, as women, we do switch it up. And we do switch it
mm-mm.
up. So
Mm-mm. Y'all
I
gonna get
am
to the
looking
pearly gates
forward
and they
to
not gonna even know who you are. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna be calling your name and they'll think that's not you.
I'm telling you, if I ever got rid of my life, that would really throw people all the way off.
Mm-mm,
They wouldn't know
mm-mm,
who I was anymore.
mm-mm,
But it's, I must
mm-mm.
say, I'm not my hair.
Right.
I am so much more than that. I'm not my hair.
I
And
may
for
get
those
beat
who
up
know,
for it, but
it's just easy.
some of y'all not y'all hair either, because y'all take
That's
it off
right.
when you get home.
Look, listen, and as we start going through issues, maybe one of the things that you'll talk about in your groups, Nakia, is that aspect of what that does
Mhm.
for women specifically. And I'm gonna be honest, one of the fears that have circulated for me because I have long locks. I've seen
Mhm.
many people now, women specifically, going through this cancer epidemic,
Oh
and
yeah.
they lose all of their hair.
Hmm.
That in
Hmm.
itself is whew,
That's
whew.
something when that's all you've had to kind of
And if you've been
identify with.
defined by that or how you see
Hmm.
yourself, how
There you
you view
go.
yourself.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
so, yes, indeed,
Yes, that's true.
Mm-mm-mm. Well,
that
I'll
is
tell you,
something.
I've had a good time today.
Yes.
Yes, me too. Me
The
too.
food was good, the conversation was great, and the company was great. So, Nakia, thank you so much for sharing information about your organizations and all that you do, and I'm sure you've inspired some others
Thank you.
to seriously get involved in the community. So, thank you.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much for having me. I've enjoyed myself.
All right. Well, I am Dr. Richard Mason.
I'm Dr. Tamara Williams,
Join us right back here next week on WHOV Smooth 88.1 FM.
the essence of HU.
Keep your fork.
Someday we'll be able to measure the power of words. I think they are things. I think they get on the walls. They get in your wallpaper. They get in your rugs, in your upholstery, in your clothes, and finally into you.
Thank you for joining us at the table.
Tune in next Sunday at 1 p.m. for more delicious topical recipes for life on the Sunday Brunch.
On Smooth 88.1 WHOV.